Hi, I'm Marcus Beer, and this week I got to go to San Francisco and check out Watch Dogs, Ubisoft's upcoming open-world technology hacking type game with stuff in it. And I'm going to tell you all about the stuff, because that's why I'm here. Okay, so the premise of Watch Dogs is that it's set in the not-too-distant future in Chicago. You play Aiden Pearce, who has a murky past to say the least. He's a known cybercriminal who, for some reason now, is hell-bent on revenge. Now, Chicago is basically one of America's first smart cities in the game, which means traffic and air traffic control and trains and all cameras are all controlled by one central system, the CTOS. And as with any technological system, it's ripe for hacking and playing around with if you happen to be playing a game where you are a hacker, and that's what Aiden is. And they obviously showed us walking through, they showed Aiden walking through the streets of Chicago and being able to access people's cell phones, being able to access cameras and spy on things. You get little indicators that actually show the probability of a crime being committed. In one such section, they basically, you're walking through the back alleys into a more urban sprawl, and you get a little indicator that says, okay, something's dodgy is going to go off, a little yellow flare, if you will. And if you hack the camera and you then hack another camera, you can basically see two guys in red jackets acting suspiciously and chatting about something. Now, one of the guys notices the camera, picks up a rock and nails the camera. All right, the camera's gone. You follow these guys, and as you follow the guy you're scanning, you can see the probability of crime going up or down depending on if it's the guy, it starts off with 25% and then it can go up to 80, 90 as a crime is about to be committed. You see him walk towards a guy guarding a door, and a quick scan of the guy guarding the door shows that he's a drug dealer and he's got previous for violent conduct. And then the next thing you know, boom, it kicks off. Is one guy attacks another, and this is where your options come in on being a vigilante. Do you basically stand back and watch, or do you participate? And in the demo we saw, they actually watched one guy. We saw one guy beat the crap out of another, and then Aiden pulls his gun, pulls off a shot, and the guy who did the beating jumps into a car and drives off. And we're into, oh, guess what? Our first car chase. So jumping into the car, there's a chase all the way through the streets of Chicago, over some bridges, which is all lots of fun. But what they do start to show is some of the hacking capabilities within the game. Because obviously not only are you hacking cameras and cell phones and Wi-Fi, and we'll talk about the Wi-Fi in a little bit, but you can also hack traffic cameras. So you can basically box people in by putting all the cameras to green, causing a big crash at an intersection, and then a car can plow into them. Not only that, Chicago has a blocker system, which is basically metal thick poles that shoot up from the ground to block off streets. This is for the police to be able to block stuff off and trap people in. So, for example, you're being chased or you're chasing somebody, you pop a blocker in front of them, they will they'll smash into it, and you can then apprehend them, shoot them, mug them, whatever you want to do. And then just to really, get away even further, you can raise drawbridges. And yes, you can raise the bridges, scoot over them, and leave the police trapped behind. If that wasn't enough, or if your hacking level is not high enough, and again, I'll go into that in a little while, you can enter an underground garage and you can basically escape from helicopters, park the car, switch into a new car or a motorcycle and ride out another side, and perhaps they won't find you, or just go on foot. You can go in through the stairwell or exit through another exit, mingle with people, and you get away, and well done, you've escaped. But let's talk about the hacking, because that's obviously the really cool, interesting aspect of this game. Now, they wouldn't go into too much depth. I mean, basically, you have your cell phone, which is pretty much, you've hacked it, it's jailbroken. You have lots of apps on there. Apps are the key, and you basically aren't downloading stuff from the iTunes store or from the Android store. Basically, we're talking about going to hacking sites, getting really dodgy stuff that allows you to hack cameras and Wi-Fi. You come equipped with a universal remote that allows you to open practically any car. But you have the skills that you have to upgrade as well, because if you want to use some of these apps, you have to be of a high hacking level. And this is where the experience comes in, and they really didn't talk much about the experience, but me being a savvy kind of gamer type, I saw the little experience gained tags that would pop up in the right-hand corner when you did something. And when I actually talked to the producer, he did say that you can use your experience points to level up and to get better experience in hacking or camouflage, blending into people, fist fights, shooting, etc. So there is going to be that semi-role-playing aspect in the game, which actually, again, in my opinion, stands it apart from perhaps some of the other similar games that are coming out this year. But again, you can't just hack. I mean, obviously one of the biggest fears I think we all had is that we have Assassin's Creed syndrome, where you press a button and all of a sudden you're a parkour wizard running up, down, left, right, and center. They do want to make hacking easy, but there are going to be things that are just going to be too tough for you to hack because of your level. But again, it's going to be one button so that you can actually choose your directions and choose which actions you want to do and map them out. So they wanted to show us how dynamic the world is, and to do that, they basically showed us a hacking side mission. And because the city of Chicago is divided into suburbs, there's CTOS stations all over the city, and to gain control of everybody's cell phone and camera and Wi-Fi in that particular area, you have to hack the main substation. So what are we going to do? They show gates, they show armed guards. You walk up to the armed guard at the gate, he says quite literally, F off, not interested, you're not supposed to be here. So how am I going to get in? So you scoot around, you see a convenient gap in the barbed wire fence, you sneak through. Now there's half a dozen guys with guns. Are you going to take them out violently because you do have weapons, or are you going to start using your box of tricks? In one of the demos they showed us, they showed that you could commandeer a forklift truck and start raising things that would attract people and divert them, or hit a button to open one of the gates when you're already inside, which would then divert attention from where you are, and the guards would go and explore the gate. Alternatively, you could also, when the guards explore the gate, go up behind them, use a nightstick and throttle them and kill these guys, which, you know, sometimes has a positive or negative effect. Obviously, if you leave a dead body there, people are going to start shooting at you. That's not so positive. Basically, in the demo we saw, the guy snuck in and he took out one of the guards by opening a gate and diverting him. Then he hopped on top of a lift, climbed up to the roof, and then opened almost like a solar protector that actually gave him cover. And in our version, which is not the version you're watching right now because they played it multiple times, you could pick some guys off with a sniper rifle before they return fire to you. Then once everybody's out of the way, you stroll up to the hacking box, you gain access, and you go camera to camera. Hacking is almost line of sight specific, where you hack one camera, you find another camera, you jump to that, and keep on jumping till you find the one thing that your goal, if you will. And once you have line of sight hacking with the particular control system within that subdivision, boom, well done, you've hacked it. One button press, walk away, you can now get access to anybody's cell phone in that particular region. Obviously, certain regions are going to be a lot tougher because they're going to have higher control system, security systems, higher numbers of guards with guns, etc. Also, there is a karma system in place, and they really wanted to stress how different it is from the, you know, do I pat the boy on the head or do I kick the boy in the backside route that you get in a lot of other RPGs. It's black or white, no shades of grey. They really want to push the shades of grey system. Some of the things you will do will negatively affect your public persona, and if the public starts to worry more about you, they're more likely to shop you to the police if they see you walking around. Or there are other things that are going to happen that you're going to do that are going to positively affect it. They give us another example where we hacked the phone of a drug dealer, a known drug dealer, who's texting somebody. And it turns out the person he's texting wants to find another drug dealer because allegedly this guy raped his wife. Some quite strong stuff in there. So if you can make the decision, do I follow this up? Do I find out what's going on? And they showed the character, you know, getting in a car, going to a certain area where this drug dealer, the alleged rapist, was. And then you hack a camera and you can see the husband walking down the alleyway, and you get the flash that there's a 25% chance of a crime. Now what do? Do you go and prevent the husband from killing this guy? Did he actually do it? And then you scroll across and you actually scan the guy who, you know, is the target, and you find not only is he a drug dealer, he's got a history of sexual assault. But you still have to make the decision. Do I kill this guy? Do I let somebody else do it? Do I stop the crime from going on? And every one of these actions has a positive or negative or varying scales in between effect on your public reputation. Some of the other things that they've got in the game, obviously driving is huge, and I've talked about using the lights and the blockers, etc. But when you jump into a car, you can actually loot the car. You can go in the glove box and pull out some money, and you maybe find a nice watch, because money is what you're going to need to upgrade your apps and your phone and guns, etc. And then once you find your loot, you can go to a pawn shop and you can get rid of that. Then you go to the gun shop because you have to get the guns. So you're in the gun shop, you're buying some guns, talking to the owner, and the TV behind him lights up with a news blast. And it just happens to be a news blast that has your character's face plastered all over it as a wanted criminal. So obviously the gun shop owner reaches for his gun, you shoot him, you run out, he's already pressed the silent alarm. It's a scripted event, so it's not as flowing as perhaps they want it to be, or perhaps as random as they maintain it's going to be. So one more thing, obviously I didn't get to play the game, I probably won't do that for a couple of more months, but it was running on a PC, but it was running on a PC that was also using a DualShock 4 controller. Mysterious, eh? Obviously they wouldn't comment if they were running a PS4 emulator or not. To me it looked like they were just running a PC version with a USB controller, just to add that area of mystery. So they wouldn't say too much about multiplayer, but what they did give us was a couple of tidbits of some of the less traditional, shall we say, aspects of multiplayer, where they talked about Aiden walking around being controlled by a member of their team and a camera following him, and that camera was actually being controlled by somebody else because somebody within their game had put a bounty on Aiden, on this character's Aiden. So there is definitely stuff beyond the regular multiplayer that they're going to show us. Unfortunately, we don't really know too much about it. Also, they have an app coming for the iPhone and the Android that's going to allow people to interact via Uplay in the console world and in the PC world. They're not, again, talking too much about it, but it's going to be interesting to see, for example, if you can put contract hits out on other people in multiplayer, if you can mess with their worlds, go in and capture the footage, blackmail them, etc. So we'll see where that goes. Watch Dogs is coming out in mid to late November on pretty much all formats, and see where it goes.